Yes. What is the number that you would put on having a happy, connected, engaged, relatively stress-free marriage or relationship? What's
Yeah.
that number?
What's it worth to you? What are you willing to invest in for the benefit of that happy, enjoyable, good aspect of your life? Probably the most important aspect of your life in many ways, hey?
Yeah, but the most important relationship you have, I would say unarguably, you might say arguably, but your primary relationship with your spouse or your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend is the most important relationship in your life to stay connected, to stay engaged, to have tools and ways to connect with them, to go deeper, to be intimate, to communicate well, to come back from fights well, to repair well. And as we say often together, we're not taught any of this. You're not taught in middle school, high school, college, and you're only taught in grad school is if you become a licensed marriage and
Yeah.
family therapist like Mark.
Yeah. But even still, I mean, some of us maybe grew up with exceptional parents, like wonderful models. And if that's you, that's great. You maybe had great modeling from your folks or your grandparents or mentors or friends or people in your community or your church or whatever it might have been. And that's awesome if that's the case. But by and large, most of us haven't. And we have these early default settings or these early patterns that have been put into our life, our psyche, deep within our being that sadly we repeat unless we overtly try to beat those bad habits out and replace them with like a new set of default settings.
And it is so interesting to think about how many people are walking around out here like disconnected from their marriages, not entirely happy. They don't actually have good strategies and tools to have a connected, intimate, fun, easy, light partnership with their spouse. And so Mark and I have just been thinking about this a lot because we have recently invested in a course by Stan and Tracy Tech, and that we've been talking about Wired for Love, and it's over 8 weeks. And so we meet every Sunday for a couple hours. And we oftentimes they have you do an exercise, just the two of you, and then they have you debrief with other couples about like how the exercise went, how that felt for you. And sometimes they'll have you do things in front of another couple. I think this might have been the first time this past Sunday. They actually had us do a exercise to each other in front of the other couple and then receive feedback from the couple. And we just had this really lovely moment where you and I were working out like a conflict moment that we had had that week. And we were trying to figure out how do we give and take. Like Mark wanted me to edit my behavior in this way when this one thing happens. And so I was like, okay, I'm open to that because if that's too overwhelming to hear me say it like this, blah, blah, blah. And, we did an okay job negotiating ourselves, like trying to get out of the conflict and think about strategies of how to do it differently moving forward. But then I mean, this is obviously me taking a W and you taking an L. So if you want to have another example at some point, you
That's all right.
can.
That's all right. I'm still learning.
The woman was so sweet. Her name was Eileen. She, after we were done, and like I had kind of conceded to some points to Mark, and she like looked at us both and she was like, "No, Mark, like that really hurt my heart when you said that Anna couldn't say that thing. Like, no, she should be allowed to say that." And in that moment, like Mark then softened, and you had more like ears to hear what I was saying because you had a third party perspective, an
Yep.
objective bystander to say, hey, Mark, like I actually think you're looking at it like this. You actually need to look at it like this. And
Absolutely.
it was just a really powerful moment, not only for us as a couple, for me, but more importantly, actually, I just have been noodling since it happened of just like, yes, like that's why we do this work. Like that's why I'm a relationship coach. This is why you're a licensed marriage and family therapist, is to really be that outside perspective to help people see it a different way.
Yeah. 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 And it's a reminder too that no matter how much we reinforce it, teach it, practice it, try it, there's always still an Achilles heel or a place that we can do it better. And so, yeah, babe, I'm working on doing it better.
So even this week, we had this heightened reminder and awareness of how important it is to invest in your relationship, in your marriage. We do, like, we have a therapist we use as a couple to help our marriage. We invest in courses like this so that we can sharpen our tools and stay connected. And it was just such a powerful reminder of why it's so important. And when you zoom out, like we were saying just a minute ago, just like, why would you not? Like, what is the price of happiness? Like, what is the cost of having a deeply rich, romantic partnership and marriage. I mean, I think, if you literally, we've been doing tax stuff, which has been hard on Mark.
Mhm.
Numbers are not his favorite. And
Yeah.
so, when you start to look at what you spend money on, travel, the country club, your car, restaurants, eating out, golf with friends, all these different, like, what do you spend all this money on? And if honestly, if your marriage, like if counseling or coaching or therapy is not a line item in your family budget or the budget you and your partner spend, like you really, I want to like challenge you to think about that because it doesn't matter if you have all these other things, the car, the house, the country club, the beach house, the vacation, the trips, the this, that. If you're not
Yeah.
happy using all those things or going on those trips or having those experiences with that person, none of that matters. So what's that amount? Like what's the amount that feels worth it to you? What's a no-brainer amount of money that if you were guaranteed to have a deeper, more playful, more fun, rich,
Mhm.
light relationship, like what's that number? For me, it's pretty high. Because like how we're doing and where we are on track is a pretty big determinant of our day-to-day happiness, our weekly happiness, our monthly our life happiness. Like if we're not good, like not a lot else matters. Do you feel the same?
I feel better when we're good. I feel great when we're
Mark
good.
is better at disassociating, so he likes to tout his um, unhealthy behavior that he can
My ability to
disengage
compartmentalize. Yeah,
is
so I can
better than
compartmentalize a little bit
mine.
better. But yeah, no, bottom line is, look, we all invest in things we love. Like, so even people I know who are good golfers still might have a golf coach. People who are good skiers still might take a private lesson. The greatest athletes in the world have coaches. And so no matter where you're at, there's always the opportunity to be better. And so we're certainly students of that, as well as being the opportunity to be the coach. We're happy in our roles and our investments as the students. So yeah,
Yeah.
pretty high investment, babe.
I know. One of the things I think about, it's like silly, but I spend a decent amount on Botox every year. Like I have a high value for not having wrinkles. So like I spend thousands of dollars on Botox every year and that means a lot to me, but so does having a healthy marriage. And so there's, another challenge I might have for you is like, what's that budget line item that you have? You're like, wow, I spent a lot of money on that. And I don't like invest in coaching or therapy for me and my partner. Like, ooh, that's challenge. Like I pay a lot of money for neurotoxins to get shot into my face. And if I value that, like I sure as hell better value what, Mark and I are trying to do and build as a couple in our life. Like that, I mean, and if there was a trade-off, like if spending on your marriage was almost like a mandatory thing, like going to the dentist or doctor, like I hope I would be willing to cut out other things
Mm.
so that I could prioritize spending money on that. And I think that's, I mean, sometimes even when people talk to me about in the work I do and coaching intensives and like are a little, like, whoa, like taken aback by the price. And I'm like, I mean, how much did you spend on filler last month? To the girls I talked to are like, how much do you spend at the gym? Your, monthly membership at the gym, or like, how much do you spend on your hair, like highlights, cutting, all the, like your nails, your clothes. Like,
Mm.
there's so many ways that we spend our money and don't blink or think about it. But then for a lot of people, still like coaching or therapy and like helping you with your relational skill sets, helping you
Yeah.
stay connected somehow that is like it's a slough off like oh I don't have to do that or it's like
Yeah.
it's non-essential and I think that obviously because it's what we do both of us for our jobs like we would say it's like absolutely essential to be connected even to stay healthy. I mean my dad is a retired minister and he had lots of couples come to him and the thing I heard him say over and over and over again is that most often and I think you would say this too most often when couples came to
Yeah,
him, it was too late. It was too late.
for
And
sure.
so I'd love to be part of this movement to try to encourage people to also think about like go when things are good.
Yeah,
Like go when things are healthy and you maybe have a small thing, like
sure.
a mountain versus a molehill. Go when you just have little molehills that you're like, ooh, like I think we should talk
Mhm.
about this. It'd probably be cool if we had someone else to talk about it so that you're not in this echo chamber of like, here's my position. And then you're saying, here's my position, here's my position, here's my position. And sometimes you can get to a place of compromise But sometimes you can't, you know? I mean, we, even in that moment on Sunday, we had gotten to a place of compromise. And then we still, it was nice to have this outside person to be like, well, wait a minute. Like, come on, Mark. Like, you need to give on that a little or whatever.
Yeah, it's great. I love it, man. Well, it's just like going to the dentist. You go to the dentist for a checkup. You don't wait till you need a root canal before you go to the dentist. So lean into to investment work to care for yourself and your relationship before catastrophe hits.
Yes.
Cool. All right, babe. Good stuff.
All right. Think about your investment as you watch this video. Think, what's it worth? Like, what's the cost? Like, what's a no-brainer? Like, if
Yeah,
it's now March, we just entered March. Like, if at the end of 2026, your relationship, your marriage could be, let's say, 10x happier, more fun, more loving, more kind, more sex, whatever. Like, what's the number you would put on that? Like, mine would be pretty high.
that's right. Well, I'm gonna go make a Brotox appointment, obviously, so I can keep myself wrinkle free and joy filled in my little aesthetic.
I only wish he was serious about that.
All right, fellas. Nothing wrong with a little bro talks once in a while, so maybe we should be open to that as well. Hey, all right. Have a great week. Great to see you. Thanks. Bye.